Hey there guys, and welcome back to Mana Down Under. For today's video we are looking at Prime Speaker Vannifar, the new commander for Simic that got spoilt from Ravnica Allegiance. Ooh, she's nutty, she is good, very powerful, probably going to be the boogeyman of the format for a little while I guess. So, she's 4 mana, she's a 2/4 Elf Ooze Wizard, unique type. Sacrifice another creature. Search your library for a creature card with the converted mana cost equal to 1+ that creature's CMC. Put that card onto the battlefield, only do it as a sorcery. That sounds familiar. There's a card called Birthing Pod. This is Birthing Pod. Same card. So, Birthing Pod on a stick. That's scary. This whole commander deck idea is just built around how abusive we can make Vannifar. And like all commander deck ideas, it's me just talking about the commander, brainstorming, giving you ideas. No hardcore deck list here, because if you included every card, you'd be well over 100+ lands. We're going to look at the combo, we're going to look at complete chains, that's how pod decks work. You can complete a chain of creatures, how to untap it, stealing effects, steal your opponent's creatures, have a bit of fun, bit of insult to injury, tutors for consistency, because technically it is a combo deck and it does need any support it can get, reshuffles and just additional support that actually help the deck game plan. So let's go into it. So Birthing Pod, like I mentioned, it's a no-brainer to have it. It is the cards, the one that have 2 of it you can. Bit of redundancy. So the main combo, these 2 cards here spiked up in price when this commander got revealed. Intruder Alarm and Thornbite Staff. So Intruder Alarm, 3 mana blue enchantment, creatures don't untap, but whenever a creature in this battlefield, untap all creatures. The idea being, you tap Vannifar, sacrifice the creature, you go and get a new creature, comes into play, it triggers Intruder Alarm, untaps Vannifar and everything else, and you just keep going through it. And more with Thornbite Staff, same thing, but has whenever a creature is put into a graveyard from play, untap this creature. In concept, it works the same way. So with either of these 2 cards on the battlefield with your commander, you're going from 1 CMC creature up to the biggest thing in the deck. And along the way, every creature will have an enter the battlefield effect, do a bit of something, then it leaves, next one comes in. Good value. That's how you're going to win. You're going to outvalue your opponent in every way you can. And other things to consider, Nim Deathmantle and Bramble Sovereign. With the Deathmantle, whenever a non-token you control goes into graveyard from the battlefield, pay 4, comes straight back on the battlefield attached to Nim Deathmantle. So when you sacrifice a creature to your commander, might as well get it back again, get another enter battlefield trigger again, and then it's another creature, continue the cycle. And for Bramble Sovereign, every time you're tutoring in or potting these creatures in, you can just pay 2 mana, make another copy. You get double up of your enter the battlefield effects, another creature, another thing to add to the cycle. It feels so good. This commander is very abusive. So, the chain. We're going to start at CMC 0. Dryad, Arbor, and the Garden are technically lands, but they are a starting point. The Arbor is a land creature, so you can sack it, so 0 + 1 is still 1. And with the Garden, it brings out a little token, which is 0 + 1, still 1. So a little starting point, or late game, just another sack outlet if you need it. Or sack point. So CMC 1, you're going to have your Llanowar Elf, Elvish Mystic, Birds of Paradise, your typical mana dorks. But try and pick ones that have an elf creature type, because there's a bit of an elf sub-theme with the commander. Quirion Ranger, this is where it starts to get a bit silly. 1 mana 1/1 that has bounce the forest back to your hand, untap your commander, or untap target creature, which in this deck says untap your commander. So without your combo pieces, this still lets you pod twice a turn, at least, because you can only do it once. Then at CMC 2, we've got things like Gyre Sage, which has Evolve. So you have all these creatures coming to the battlefield from your library. They're going to hopefully be bigger and bigger and bigger, therefore bigger power and toughness. So you can keep evolving Gyre Sage, and then she'll tap for more and more mana. Priestess Titania taps for number of elves. We had those elves earlier on, your commander's an elf, there's 2 here, and there's further elves in the deck. Bit of an elf sub-theme, bit more ramp. Cloud Fairies, it's a ramp spell. When it enters, untap 2 lands, and there's a few creatures like this in Magic we do use, and it has cycle. So if it's in your opening hand or dead, just ditch it, draw a card. Kiora's Follower is just an untapper, which in this deck we'll take anything we can get. Scryb Ranger, kinda like Quirion Ranger from earlier. Bounce forest back to your hand, untap target creature, you know the plan. Does have some extra stats on it. Scavenging Ooze, just a bit of graveyard hate, need him in commander. Phantasmal Image, double up on any creature in your deck. Gilded Drake, really good card, getting expensive now. 60 bucks, 70 bucks. But when in his battlefield, exchange control of Drake with creature your opponent controls. So late game, here's my little 3/3 flyer for your Eldrazi maybe, question mark. Good value, and then you can just sacrifice that creature anyway if you need to continue the pod. Now into 3. This is where we get a lot of our tutor spells or a lot of land fetching. Farhaven Elf, Wood Elf, and Nissa all can get lands from our deck, whether it be basics, dual lands, they all vary. Nissa can flip into a Planeswalker, give us a bit extra advantage. Selvala, kind of like a mini commander in this deck. Whenever a creature with the greatest power enters the battlefield, its controller draws a card. Well, the nature of a pod deck is we're getting bigger and bigger and bigger, therefore we should keep drawing and drawing and drawing. Plus you can also tap for X mana equal greatest power. Again, being a pod deck, we should have the biggest creature, hopefully. And all those untapped mechanics work really well there too if you need extra mana. Spellseeker, triggers for an instant sorcery CMC 2 or less. In this deck, it'll be your counter magic, and we'll go into that later on. Eternal Witness, that's a must have. You're a pod deck, you're sending a lot of things to the graveyard, might as well bring them back and pod them in again. Manglehorn and Gyre Sage are just hate for artifact enchantments, need them in this deck, and if they're entering the battlefield, destroying a permanent, then leaving, oh, the value is real, it really is. At 4, this is where blue takes over, we get a bit more control-y. Glenn is great. She can sacrifice herself to counter a non-creature spell, then her persist brings her back again, then you can do it again. We can pod her persist triggers there. Then you get things like Cytoplast Manipulator, which can graft a counter onto an opponent's creature, then you can gain control of it. But in addition, you can just gain control of any creature with a 1/1 counter on it. You don't have to put it there, as long as it's got a 1/1 counter on it, it's yours. And then you just pod it out with your commander. So steal their creatures, sacrifice their creatures for your own benefit. Sower of Temptation, as soon as it hits the battlefield, gain control of the target creature till it leaves play. Sacrifice the creature you gain control of for your pod. Wonder works well. You're trying to get it into the graveyard anyway, so it lets you just come in, pod it out for CMC 4 up to 5, now your creatures all have flying. Fate Stitcher, it's just an untapped mechanic, plus Unearth, once you've podded it, gives you 1 additional untap if you need it. Clever Impersonator and Metamorph are just whatever you want them to be really. Solemn is just land and draw, it's such good value in 1 creature. Then we're into CMC 5 now, getting a bit heavy now. Acidic Slime, Rex an artifact, enchantment or land, pretty good later on. Muldrifter, favourite fish magic, gotta love the Muldrifter. Draws 2 cards. The Drake, it untaps 5 lands. At that point, that's a huge ramp spell, that's 5 mana, just bang, you didn't have. Body Double, it can be any creature in any graveyard. You're filling up your graveyard every time you pod. There's plenty of options to pick. And with the Drake stepping back, don't forget you can cast spells. When I keep looking at the commander, I know other people are thinking the same. It's constantly, how do I pod it? How do I pod it? You can't just cast spells with mana. That is a thing in the deck. A little bit more, we've got the Overbeing of Myth. I like it because it's just a bit of card draw and it's a big beater. Seaboil Muse, untap all your permanents on every other untap step. Take it while you can get it. Thragtusk, gains you 5 life, and when you pod it out, you get a 3/3 token. Can't really complain with that one. Now, CMC 6, we're getting really heavy now. Prime Speaker Zagana, the old Prime Speaker. When she enters battlefield, she gains counters equal to the greatest power amongst your creatures, and then you draw cards equal to its power. So, big draw spell, hopefully, if you've done a few pods before. Progenitor Mimic, just giving you constant army. The Woodland Bellower, it brings another creature with it, with CMC 3 or less. So, probably Wood Elves or Tutor Spell of some sort. You can even get Spellseeker and get a counter spell. So, 1 pod would have got you 3 permanents, or 3 spells, I should say. Green Warden of Murasa is just double Eternal Witness. You can't really complain. You're that dependent on your graveyard and podding, might as well get them back again. CMC 7, now this is where your win conditions kind of come in. Avenger Zendikar and Hornet Queen both bring a huge army with them. So we're going to need the token presence for CMC 8, you'll see that in a sec. Protean Hulk can be used in combos in this deck in a few different ways. I just use it as utility, get what creatures I need. If I need a couple land, I get the land fetching creatures. If I need small things down the line, get them. But you can use them with Sage of the Hours, have multiple combats with Azuri and all the 0 creatures. Yeah, it's a thing. But that's a very intense combo deck and it's hard to keep it protected and going. Palicron on top 7 lands. Why not? More ramp. CMC 8. Woodfall Primus, just a great card in Commander. Destroy 2 non-creature permanents with Persist. Craterhoof, that's your win condition. The idea being Avenger of Zendikar or Hornet Queen brought on those creatures. Maybe your Bramble Sovereign from early on doubled up those creatures. Now you've got a huge army. Craterhoof comes in, huge buff to the board. Maybe double up Craterhoof, maybe make 2, and that's how you're going to win the game, hopefully. CMC 9, there's not really much in green blue that's that great. A lot of jank from the Stone Age and Magic, like Leviathans that aren't that good. A few other YouTubers have said the same thing. Void Winnower and Nullstone Gargoyle are really it, and they're kind of like lockdown pieces. I don't see them sticking too long. You'll probably pot them out because you can anyway. And then at CMC 10, my 3 choices would be Jin for all the draw he'll bring. Like putting him in, then end of turn drawing 7 cards. If your opponent can't keep up with you now, they're done. They're gonna lose. Most units seeing wins, you can remove the divinity counter and draw a card for each permanent you control. Well, could be a lot if you're not careful, but if you do it quick enough, it might be 5 to 7 cards. And then Kozilek, because you need an Eldrazi in a kind of deck like this. Now he's also here for another reason. The reshuffling part is a huge safety net in the deck, and we'll go into that later on. These cards here are what I like to call skip, like an Uno. Pestamite, Bounding Krasis, and Deceiver Exarch allow you to skip CMC 3, because they come into play, their own ability untaps a target creature. You can untap your commander, go straight up to 4. So if you haven't got your combo online, these are free skips. Breaching Hippocamp lets you go straight from 4 up to 5, and the Great Oak goes from 6 up to 7. So, free skips if you need them. A couple extra untap mechanics, excluding the combo. School at Water Edge and Wildwood Liege. 2 lands that can untap your commander, and then a good majority of your deck. Wildwood untaps Elves. You have a lot of Elves in your deck, that Elf sub-theme's coming through now. And then School at Water's Edge, obviously if your commander, but Selvala. All that mana you can produce is pretty handy. 1000-Year Elixir gives all your abilities haste essentially and untaps a creature. Well, we know which one we're going to target. Freed from the Real. Pay 1 blue, untap, enchant a creature. Your commander, just as long as you got blue, you can keep on tapping it. Other options that are more one-off, Firelight and Benefactor's Drought. Instant untap your board, and well, the Drought has a draw built in, which is nice. So stealing, not everyone's a fan of it in Commander. I love it, it's great fun. Shackles, pay 2, gain control of target creature with power less than the number of islands you control. Well, you're a blue deck, you're gonna have a lot of islands, you always do. And then you just pot it away. So pay 2, gain control of their creature, pot it up the chain into your creatures, then do it again. I love Chamber of Manipulation. I can't believe this card's only $1 for how good it is. So you do have to enchant a land, which kind of sucks. But tap it, discard a card from your hand, gain control of target creature to end a turn. Instant speed. So obviously for potting, so just ditch a card through your land, gain control of their best creature, pot it away into your creature. Or if they're attacking you with a big board presence, discard several cards, gain control of a few creatures, use air creatures as blockers or someone else in a multi-way game. Great card, I love it. I can't believe it's only $1. Beguiler of Wills lets you gain control of creatures with power less than the number of creatures you control. Depending how the game's going, hopefully you got a board presence so you can gain control of some middle-sized creatures. In Royal Elemental, landfall, gain control of creature till the elemental leaves. With your Wood Elves and other creatures having lands entering the battlefield, hopefully you can get a few and then pod them away before your opponent gets them back. So tutoring. In this deck, you've got green and blue. Green typically tutors for creatures, but in this deck your commander can tutor for the creatures, so ignore that part. In blue, tutors mainly for artifact or instant sorcery, and we don't really care about instant sorcery because we've got our counter spells to protect the combo. So these tutors are just to find the combo or increase our consistency. The Phantasms can go and get Intruder Alarm because of Transmute 3. Muddle Mixtures, Transmute for 2, can go and get your Thornbite Staff. Fabricate can get you Thornbite Staff 2. In Living Wish, this depends on the play group. You can go and get yourself any creature or land from outside the game. I have seen and heard of people setting up a sideboard in this deck with one of each CMC, so they're going to complete chain whenever they need it. You can do it, your friends might not like you though. And don't forget Green Sun. It works great in a pod-like deck, because you should know most of your creatures CMC off the top of your head, so you should know what you want to spend to go and get what creature. So with your commander sacrificing these creatures and potting away into another creature and sacrificing that, your library gets pretty thin. You're going to use up all your resources, it's going to be all in the graveyard, unusable. Have a couple of effects that can reshuffle your entire graveyard back into your library so you can keep the pod cycle going and going and going. So the Cane and Elixir of Mortality, they're commander staples at this point, but I like using Butcher of Truth as an abusive loop to keep resetting our graveyard into our library if we need to. So if there's even one card in your graveyard that you know you need, why not pot away till you hit the Butcher of Truth so it resets into our graveyard back in. It becomes like an Eternal Witness whenever we need it. A little bit of a long way to do it, but it does work. If not, you're going to have no resources and you can't fight multiple players at once, essentially. Now, into support just for the deck. The deck is mainly enter the battlefield effects on all the creatures because they're not staying long and you're not casting them. So they come in, do their effect, leave. Conjurer's Closet, Panharmonicon work great for these kind of decks, just double up your effects. The Braces let you double up any activated abilities, or you got your commander and a couple other things throughout the deck. Riptide Laboratory, people forget this card exists. Bounce a wizard back to your hand. Your commander is an Elf Ooze wizard. And we hit type every time I say it. So if your commander's under threat, board wipe or something going on, pay 2 mana, bounce her back to your hand. Avoid that command attacks because 4 mana, then 6 and 8, she gets expensive pretty quick. And unless you've been living under a rock, she's a scary commander. People are going to come for you. They're going to try and kill you earlier on. So if you can protect her, the better. and Kiora and Jace Mind Sculptor. Now, Jace isn't cheap, but he's here for a good reason. With your deck, you can only pod from the library, you can't pod from your hand. So with his Brainstorm-like effect, any creature in your hand that you don't want to deal with anymore, pod it back into the library and then get it through commander that way. There are other ways to do it, but he's probably the best at it, really. Kiora, she can untap a creature and untap a land, can't really complain, and her ultimate makes creatures fight on entry. And if you're podding 5 times a turn, well, there's 5 fights a turn. She works pretty well in the deck. For the rest of the deck, like your protection and your counter spells, removal spell, always take what's good for you in your playgroup, like I always say. But the nature is commander, she's a huge threat, people know what she's already doing. People are going to come for you, they're going to come for her. So have lots of counter spells, lots of bounce spells, have lots of like cantrips and draw to get through your deck. Make sure you've got it. I personally like Mystic Snake and Frilled Mystic because they're counter spells on a creature and we can pod them away if we need to. Bit of versatility where you need it. Like always, this commander is hugely versatile, you can build it so many different ways. This is more of a combo redundancy middle game, I guess. It's not hardcore one-track combo, but then it's kind of got a plan it's trying to pull off. So there's lots of different creatures you can include. Anything you like with an Enter Battlefield effect works really well. Make sure you've just got a good curve that tapers off up the higher end, probably about 10 will be a good number. And yeah, let me know what you think about her. She's broken, she's very powerful for a commander. Thanks for watching, guys. Please remember to like and sub and click the bell icon for notifications, it's greatly appreciated. And if you have any deck or video ideas, just suggest them down below, and have a good one, guys.